Hey guys, it's a brand new Screen Team. Thank you for joining us right here on KWOC. We want you to know before you go. That's what we're all about, kind of giving you an inside look on movies that have just come out, maybe movies that have come out years and years and years ago, but we're kind of giving you an inside track on whether or not you should check it out or let it pass by. Our first film we're going to do is a film from our friend Michael Hibbler. He didn't direct it, but he wanted to. He wanted to review
I was hoping
it.
he would just be quiet and they could think that.
We're talking about the movie Quiz Show. This movie came out in the early 1990s. It was directed by Robert Redford, starring Ray Fiennes, and this movie has to do. It's set in the 1950s, I think late 1950s,
Yeah.
and it has to do with NBC television and their quiz show programs, which were kind of like the Jeopardy of the 1950s,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So basically, the behind the story scene is that the producers of these these TV quiz shows were giving the answers to the contestants so they would win when they wanted them to win and lose when they wanted them to lose.
Exactly.
So deceiving the American public and
that was a huge deal back then.
Yeah.
Which is funny how now, I don't mean to burst anybody's bubble, but most reality shows are fake. They're very scripted. If that was the case then, that's what basically...
Are you telling me Jersey Shore isn't real? Is that what you're saying?
It's not real.
Is that what you're telling me? What?
There's a producer. They need ratings. Real life is not always entertaining. But anyway,
It's true though. Like with those shows now, they feed those actors or like
Exactly.
they feed those situations to
Exactly
cause the drama.
Exactly right. And you can always tell by, I know this is the production part of it, by the different camera angles. Like someone's walking up to a door with a camera behind him.
Yeah,
Obviously,
right.
the cameras are behind him, so someone had to tell him someone's going to be coming to your door, but they have to act surprised.
Right.
So it's stuff like it's very
Yeah.
scripted. But anyway, back when the quiz show, the original show, I'm trying to think, it was not called.
It was called 21.
Yes, 21, the original. And you literally have a man who, I mean, they handpick it. It does a good job, by the way, of going behind the scene into the studios to see how it was created.
Yes.
The strategy behind it. They even, in the booth, would make the actor Ray Fiennes, didn't matter who was in the booth, they would make the contestant sweat by turning up the heat just for more reality.
Yeah.
And they had a small microphone implanted so he could hear the answers being fed to him. And they would choose based upon ratings if this person kept winning.
Yeah.
And then if it got lower, they need to do something. So it's all about the same, it's all about somebody's look. It's all about the way they act. If the American people are going crazy, whatever is keeping those ratings up. And it was an absolute scandal when it came out. It really hurt NBC at that time to find out. But then again, bounce back into
To a juggernaut.
To a juggernaut, exactly
Yeah.
right. They bounce back, and bad publicity isn't
Necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
I know that you like this movie. Why do you like this movie?
A great cast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge John Turturro fan.
And he was good. He was very
Perfect.
neurotic and
And I have respect for him because he's not a good-looking man. He's got to where he is in the entertainment business based upon looks, based upon talent.
right.
Ray Fiennes, who's an outstanding actor, you may know him as Lord Voldemort,
It's the chosen
cool
one.
German Nazi on Schindler's List, or
Harry Potter.
and we bow. I know. Sorry.
No, we love movies, man. We can do that.
Exactly. But excellent cast. It has all the recipes for great filmmaking. You know, the great directing, great producing, writing, and of course it's big budget. They can afford all that. You don't necessarily have to have all the money to do it, but it helps. But it's a good story, and it's not like a typical documentary film where it's really boring. They just take you piece by piece by piece.
And let's be honest here. The subject matter is kind of boring.
Yeah.
But the movie doesn't make it so.
No. No, it makes you realize it's like, I mean, people now really probably aren't going to really care about a quiz show.
Yeah.
Because it's just not the style. That's
Sure.
something that is faded off. But how it happened, what's going on in this guy's life. Is it eating at him?
Yeah.
Is it causing a moral conflict within this guy to be?
I'm glad you brought that up. One of my favorite scenes is towards the very end where Ray finds he's having those moral issues, like you said.
Exactly.
He's lied all this time, and he doesn't want to disappoint his fans and his family and everybody.
By the way, he's a basically a famous professor, and he's also part of a family that's famous.
The Van Dorens,
a very wealthy, famous family. So he hasn't just himself to please or let down. Yeah. Like you said, I mean, he has a very prestigious American family.
Sure.
With that's deep rooted in with business and education and stuff like that. So
at the very end, he's having that come to Jesus moment with his father.
Yeah.
And he's trying to tell his dad, hey, they've got those hearings for the quiz show. And he's like, yeah, I know all about it. And they're cheaters and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, what if I told you that I cheated? And you see there's the perfect acting with those two actors going back and forth.
No, I completely agree with you.
That's one of my favorite scenes. Another one of my favorite scenes is when Ray finds he's on his last question. I think he decides he's going to tank. Basically, they want him to keep winning, and he's like, I'm gonna tank it. And they show this scene right here from the poster where Robert Redford, he has that behind shot of Ray Fiennes, and then he just comes close like that at his back of his head because you know that he's going to. He's thinking, but you also, as the audience, you realize that is he going to blow this? Is he going to tank? It's just such a great shot, great shot.
The cinematography too. You'll find in really good movies, the cinematography in all movies, but especially good movies, is doing the storytelling. It has a lot of excellent camera work in it as well. So definitely, it is a really good movie, and it's not just because it's called a quiz show. You may think, maybe kind of boring. It's not. It's a very, very well-made, entertaining movie.
Very true. It was nominated for 4 Academy Awards: Best Picture, 1995, Best Supporting Actor for Paul Scofield, Best Director, Robert Redford, and Best Writing Screenplay based on adapted material. Michael, before you go, will you remind the folks about the kid show that you produce on YouTube, please?
Yeah, it's called The Magic of Learning. It's a learning show that makes learning fun, but you don't really realize that your kids are learning.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
One episode you may be in space. The next episode you're under the ocean. It's anywhere or anything, with in learning about different things about our world or about our universe.
Yeah.
And it just has the typical characteristics of a good children's theme. You have, a good host who takes you somewhere. You may have a song. You have some learning games and stuff like that. So it's something that I know we've talked about that I could feel good about doing.
Yeah.
That will help children get quality stuff, because in my opinion, there's just too much filth out there, and it's just acquired in everything that we do in our lives. So it's kind of a good win-win situation for both the viewer and the producer.
And where can people check it out?
The Magic of Learning, you could find it on YouTube. You can just look under Magic of Learning, but it's going to be under my name as of right now, Michael Hibbler, until I could create a different channel, or Facebook under The Magic of Learning.
All right, he's Michael Hibbler. I am Chris. We are part of the Screen Team. Michael is going to take a rest for a moment. He'll be back reviewing the movie The Darkest Hour with his boy Gary Oldman. We'll find out how good his performance was, but Val is joining us next for the Sandra Bullock film Murder by Numbers. It's coming your way right here on the Screen Team.